Good day to you. This is Impact Corner with BFO, and our topic for today is signs and symptoms of child abuse. How do I know if my child has been going through any type of child abuse whatsoever? Last week, we talked about types of child abuse. That episode is very informative and impacting. Make sure you go on BFO TV and click and watch it. And of course, watch other episodes of Impact Corner on BFO TV on YouTube. You know, we talk about boosting your self-esteem and a lot of other topics like that. Make sure you click and watch all these episodes. Very great for you. So today we're talking about signs and symptoms of child abuse. Now, signs and symptoms of child abuse that you will see in your child if they have been going through abuse of any kind is different. It differs depending on your child's age and developmental level. You know, the signs you're going to see with a 2-year-old or with babies or with, teenagers and, 7-year-olds and all that, it's different. So, but we're going to talk about various signs and symptoms of abuse today, and then you're going to apply it, to your own children. One of the signs of child abuse is inappropriate sexual behavior or knowledge. That's, sexual behavior or knowledge that is inappropriate for your child's age. When your child starts talking about things that they are not supposed to know yet, they start mentioning things or acting in a way they are not supposed to, be exposed to yet, and they have not been exposed to these things from, under your watch, then you have to watch it. That's something you have to pay attention to. When your child have difficulty walking or sitting down, when your 2-year-old starts pointing to their genital areas and say, "Mommy, it hurts. Daddy, it hurts," then you have to find out what is in that place that is hurting. Then you have to, pay more attention and watch carefully to know what's going on with them. Another red flag is when you see blood in the underpants of your children. When you see blood in the underpants of your children, you have to look out. Do they have cut anywhere or anything? Then you have to, watch it. It could be sexual abuse or any other thing, even this physical abuse. When your child call you and say, these days is a lot of parents, for so many reasons, their children will call them, especially teenagers, and say, "This person is sexually abusing me." But then this parent will say, "Shut up, what do you know about sex?" No, that's not a statement you should joke with. When your child call you and say, "This person is sexually abusing me," or "I am not comfortable with this person," that is a statement that you need to investigate. So many other things. Pregnancy is, it's the sign you don't want to see. It's what a lot of parents, it's what actually alerts a lot of parents to the fact that their children are going through sexual abuse. So bad. And of course, STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. It's so unfortunate that in today's world, even babies are coming up with STDs. When a child starts having STDs, when they start having, pain and hurts down there, then these are something that, signals that they've been going through abuse. Another big red flag to watch out for is, loss of interest. This could signal any kind of any kind of abuse. Could be sexual, physical, or anything. When your child suddenly loses interest in activities that, normally would interest them. When they, they withdraw to themselves, they don't play with friends anymore. Or when your child suddenly, change behavior towards a person, they suddenly stop, the way they are usually excited when they see those person before, but now they are no longer, the excitement went down, or they just don't want to see this person anymore, or the excitement suddenly, it starts. The child that is usually not excited to see this person, and whenever this person shows up, the child, it's usually now really, really very excited and always wanting to go to, let's go to uncle this person's house, let's go to auntie auntie A's house. And normally they were not like that before. So you have to investigate. This is a big, big red flag for you to investigate. Other behavior changes in children that definitely signals that they are going through abuse is a sudden change in behavior, anger, hostility, aggression, or they suddenly become defiant and disrespectful. Someone that your child usually respect, have a lot of respect for, that person shows up and they suddenly start behaving somehow, especially in a disrespectful, derogatory way to this person, then you have to find out what happened, why the change in why the change in behavior to that person. That means there's a change in relationship. Maybe the person has been relating to them in a way that they don't want. This especially is with teenagers. When you're 8-year-old, not necessarily only teenagers, because 8-year-olds these days, they are old enough to know when somebody is doing something bad to them. When your child suddenly just change behavior to someone in a bad way, or maybe in a good way sometimes, that's something you need to investigate. When your child starts sexually, abusing other children, this is another red flag. When your 2-year-old starts touching the genitals of other children or babies around them, then you want to find out maybe somebody has been touching their own genitals. When your 2-year-old start playing with the genitals of another child, you want to find out. Or when your 3-year-old, 4-year, 5-year-old start playing with the genitals of another child, then you have to find out maybe somebody has been playing with their own genitals. Or when your children pick up a baby doll or teddy bear, and where they go for is the private part, the underparts, then you have to watch out for this. Other symptoms, especially with teenagers, is depression, absence in school. They don't want to go to school. And grades are getting low. A lot of other things like that. Your child. So other symptoms of child abuse could be, your child not wanting to be involved in one activity or the other. Your child not wanting to leave school because they don't want to come home. If they don't want to come home, then you have to find out what is in the house that is scaring them, that is trying to keep them away. Your child not wanting to visit, the places they normally like to visit before. That is another red flag. Or whenever you get home, some of us that keep our babies, with caregivers, whenever you get home, your child is always sleeping at that time. And and on weekends when you are with your children, they behave differently. Something is not just right. And also, parents, you have to use your intuition. Whenever you feel or you think that something is not just right, then you're probably right. Follow through. Make sure you find out what your intuition is telling you. Make sure some other signs and symptoms of abuse to watch out for. When your child is desperately seeking affection, like showing, lack of care. You get home and your child just cling on you like mom, I'm not letting go. Even a baby cling on you and it's not letting you go, and that housemaid that you normally live with the child, that has been staying with the child for about 2 months or more than that, almost a year, the child is still not used to that housemaid. Whenever you get home from work, the child just cling on you, and the child don't want that caregiver or housemaid to touch him or her anymore. Then you have to find out what's going on. Why is the child behaving like that? Or whenever you get home, your child is always hungry. Your child, whenever you bring out food and they just gulp it down, it could be neglect. Something is going on. So just don't overlook all these things. Don't think, oh, it's just the normal way of life, or the child is just changing attitude, or something is just going on. You have to watch it. And of course, the biggest red flag, especially for teenagers and young adults, when your child is behaving like they want to say something, they want to talk, but they are just like, there's something this child wants to say, but it's not saying anything. Then you have to get close enough so that the child will say something to you. Above all, you have to be, your children's friend. Loss of confidence. When you see that your child is losing confidence in themselves, then you have to find out what's going on. It could be abuse of any kind. It could be neglect. Because abuse makes the abuser feeling guilty, like they are not good enough, or like, they are the reason why these things is happening to them. So you have to watch out for all these things. God will help us. Above all, we have to pray for our children. Do all you can do. Install cameras if you can do that in your house. Watch out, come home unannounced. Don't be routinious. Don't make your routine like that. Come home. Tell your boss, I take time off. Don't announce your coming and going, just do things unannounced, out of the box. You know, have a regular routine so that the caregiver knows this is your regular routine, but some days just show up unannounced, just do something out of the box. You know your child more than any other person. The symptoms of child abuse in your own child will be different from other people's children. So you have to monitor for things that are generally not there with your children before, that now you see. It could be signs of any form of abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, or anything. So parents, we have a lot in our hands. Watch out for these signs and symptoms. And how do you know them? By spending time with your children, by knowing them, by staying with them, developing a relationship. Child abuse is a big deal. It's something that all parents should watch out for. It's something that all caregivers should watch out for. Don't be too busy to spot the red flags. Don't be too busy to spot the symptoms and signs of child abuse on your child. It's your duty, it's your responsibility. Spend more time with your children so that you can get to know them, so that you can get to know when something is out of the norms for them. And of course, if you've been blessed by this video, make sure you like it, make sure you comment on it, make sure you share it to be a blessing to others. If you are watching on YouTube, just subscribe to BFO TV, the channel where you're watching from. And of course, if you're not watching on YouTube, come to YouTube, search for BFO TV, BFO space then TV, and subscribe to our channel for our great imparting talk shows and our other, great movies on that channel too. And of course, follow Beatrice Funke Ogumola on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and link me up on WhatsApp. I'm also on WhatsApp. And of course, look out for our Facebook talk show on every Friday, Impact Corner with BFO, every Friday, where we talk about impacting life-changing topics, every Friday at 2 p.m. Central Time and 8 p.m. UK and Nigeria time, and of course every other time zone, just fix your own time. Until I come your way again, don't be too busy to spot child abuse, and continue to impart your word. Thank you.